Welcome to our weekly meditation and live again. We're into the middle of May, but still in the season of Easter, Eastertide, we might say. And so still keeping in mind some of the themes from Easter of let's say descent and ascent, or suffering, bewilderment, and then joy. Just flagging up, the image on the screen is an icon, really more from the Eastern Orthodox tradition of the risen Christ, drawing people from their tombs, and particularly this depicts Adam and Eve, more of which later. But continuing to journey then, and whether that is that Easter account, suffering, confusion, and then new life. However the journey goes, transformation. Because if we truly follow, then like the disciples, we will be changed. So we come to this time that we've set aside, and one of our practices, one of our rituals, if you like, in a very small way, is just to go through the setup at the start of meditation. So go through whatever routine you've developed of adjusting where you're sitting, finding a comfortable posture, noticing, bringing your attention into this moment and noticing your feet connected to the ground. Noticing your position on the chair or sofa and your connection there. And then noticing your breathing. And so we begin with 2 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. These are deep, slow breaths. Hearing the sound that breath is making. Conscious of a slowing down. And you may have closed your eyes, or you may want to use the image on the screen, or just lower your gaze. And see what you notice about the breath this evening. It may be different from other times. Is it the sound? With the intake, the inhale, and then the exhale. Is it a sensation of movement of air? Or is it noticing the physical rise and fall of the belly? If one of those, then just keep your thoughts focused on that. If none of those, then maybe attach some image to the breath. For me, it's the gentle movement of a wave up the beach and then back down. And now bring the attention back to the breath itself, and we're just going to do our exercise of counting to 4 on the in-breath, hold for 2, count for 5 on the out-breath, and again hold for 2 after that out-breath. Now imagine that what we're breathing in, as well as air, is actually God's Spirit entering us. The energy of the universe, if you like, the whole world, the whole universe is imbued with the love that is, the energy that is love. And in breathing in, you are breathing that into yourself, bringing in those things that we need: calm, balance, patience. And we can breathe out, we can let go of fear, of anxiety, of envy, perhaps. So as you continue to breathe, some further thoughts on journeying and transformation. Richard Rohr, I'm sure you've heard me quote Richard Rohr on this idea of going from a place of order through disorder to reorder. And Walter Brugermann, a modern theologian, likens this or draws a parallel with different parts of the Hebrew scriptures. He says that the first 5 books, the Torah, correspond to that first stage of life as well, of order, of structure, laws, certainty, identity, safety and security. A very necessary stage to begin with. But then he draws the parallel between the prophets and that second stage of disorder. The prophets who head on faced up to the failure of society and of the people. They faced up to suffering. They underwent self-examination. But they faced persecution for this. We might recall that Jesus, quoted in Matthew's Gospel, says, "So you testify," this is talking to the teachers of the law and Pharisees, you testify against yourselves that you are the descendants of those who murdered the prophets. So clearly prophets, it wasn't just Jesus who was killed for the challenge that he brought. And this is an uncomfortable stage, But if we want to grow or develop it through this disorder, we need to persevere. And then through to a reorder. Brugermann, for him, this third stage is the wisdom books, including Psalms, but also Job. The language of mystery and paradox. And here in this phase, we have become strong enough to hold together contradictions, to hold the tension of paradox. And over and above, to do so with compassion, forgiveness, and patience. So we pause again and just to contemplate what those stages might be for us. Whether in looking at our own lives we can sense or see where we've passed through order, where or whether we've experienced disorder. Perhaps we might call it a crisis of faith sometimes, a necessary crisis of perhaps questioning certain things or disagreeing with certain things. Before arriving at a new point, a deeper place of faith. So a few minutes to focus on that idea and where we are. You might want to come back to that contemplation in our longer silence, but just taking us there, returning to this icon from the Eastern Orthodox tradition, where many images depict the risen Jesus not on his own, but taking the dead by the hand and pulling them out of their own tombs. And famously and thoughtfully, very often, as depicted here, this begins with Adam and Eve. Jesus called his disciples to be fishers of people, to be drawn up, if you like, by his hands, but drawn up out of the world's entanglements. We might wonder, have we been drawn up, pulled out, managed to separate ourselves from a system that seems to thrive on violence and greed? And that journey to a reordered place in which we must do the work of a disciple, saying no to violence, no to envy, no to greed, no to power that exploits and destroys. And this is hard to do, isn't it? Often, if you're like me, from time to time, the weight of our despair at our inability to change or to see change around us. And perhaps we even resist the hand that pulls us upward. And this is not new either. George Herbert, 400 years ago, wrote in a poem, The Dawning. He wrote, "Arise, sad heart, if thou dost not withstand Christ's resurrection, thine may be. Do not, by hanging down, break from the hand which, as it riseth, raiseth thee." I love those words. Do not, by hanging down, break from the hand which, as it riseth, raiseth thee. And that seems to chime for me with that image of Jesus. His hand rising as he rises, raises us as well. And so we move to our longer period of silence, using it to reflect on any ideas that have come to mind. And we'll go with music from Salt of the Sound called Follow. The path that I've chosen is calling me, and I'll follow. I'll follow. This journey set before me begins with you, and I'll follow. I'll follow. Even if I stumble on this uneven road, I'll follow. I'll follow. This journey set before me begins with you, and I'll follow. And so we come out of our silence. Even if I stumble on this uneven road, I'll follow, I'll follow, I'll follow. And some closing words from Anselm of Canterbury, I think, picking up those ideas of journey and following and raising. Anselm writes, Jesus, like a mother, you gather your people to you. In the depth of your mercy, heal us. In the tenderness of your love, remake us. In the compassion of your grace, forgive us. For the beauty of heaven, prepare us. Amen.